Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Shahira binti Muhammad Saleh. I would like to present about the introduction of water cards pollution or management issue. Recently, water disruption in Selangor are increasingly becoming a problem, often leaving millions of households high and dry for several days to even a week, with notice issued only at the last minute, causing inconvenience to businesses and industries reliant on steady water supply. The rivers that are most commonly polluted are Sungai Semenyih and Sungai Selangor. Rivers are the main source of water supply in Malaysia, contributing some 97% of total usage, with groundwater making up the balance. River flows are the direct and indirect result of rainfalling on the catchment, with an average annual rainfall of 3,000 mm. The country is rich in water resources and estimate 566 billion meter cube of water runs off into the river system each year. In February 2020, however, all of Selangor's water supply facilities finally come under one entity. It is AIR Selangor. After a year of negotiation, with that, hopefully AIR Selangor can begin the upgrades to Selangor water system to better serve its rapidly growing population. With the lack of water reserve in Selangor, maybe they can stand to use a little less water each. Back then, the state policy did not seem to encourage this, with Selangor having offered 20 cubic meters of free water to Selangor citizens.
So hi, hello, my name is Devanan and I'll be explaining about the problem statement analysis for our case study. So the first problem is the water crisis in Klang Valley is occurred due to the water pollution at water supply sources in Sungai Selangor and Sungai Semenyih. The cause of this pollution is by the nearby factories have failed to store their oil according to the conditions set. So meaning that they didn't, how to say, they didn't control the amount of oils that they stored, and some more they didn't dispose it in the correct way. The number of irresponsible people dumping garbage and contaminated material in water sources is also reason for frequent pollution of the water sources. So the state government is already so the state government, even though the state government has stated a lot of notices regarding this, but still there are a lot of people doing this action, which means they don't have responsibility towards the environment themselves. So that's for problem one. The second problem is ineffective maintenance of water pipes has made the water crisis in Klang Valley be more serious. So because of the Klang Valley pipes has been around more than longer than it is, like more years than it's usual to be, but we can say that the pipes should be maintained often, but because of heavy traffic and busy roads nowadays, maintaining pipes is quite hard for the AIR Selangor company for now. So the weak and improper pipe connectivity can expose water pipes to extreme pressure, therefore acting as the immediate point of bursting in case of slight pressure buildup. So as I stated, as for busy cars, and a lot of pipes are built near and under roads, so it's really kind of hard as the population has increased, so the number of car vehicles on roads also increased. So this regarding this problem. So whenever they occur, repairs should be done with immediacy to avoid subsequent leakage and that may cut off water supply and lead to massive losses. So because there's the need to repair the pipes, so it's taking time. They have to stop the water supply so that they will have easier to repair and would not make the problem longer. But however, because the repairing time sometimes takes longer than expected, The water cuts seem to be a bigger problem in Selangor.
Alright, we move to the next part, the effects of water cuts in Selangor. Ice Selangor has received a lot of flack for the numerous water cuts that have inconvenienced thousands of households and businesses. To cut a story short, Ice Selangor controls water treatment plants in the state. It also controls Syarikat Bekalan Air Selangor Sdn Bhd Syahbas, which has the mandate to distribute treated water in Selangor. If you ever had to choose between no electricity or no water for a month, which would you choose? Without electricity, you cannot charge your phone or turn on the aircon. On those hot, muggy nights, at least, you will be able to shower and drink water. But the effect of water supply disruption goes beyond sticky armpits and dirty toilets. Long periods of water disruption may affect the economy, cause epidemics, and generally be a great pain in the tashi. Also, with the new COVID-19 cluster popping up everywhere, including Selangor, having no water can be dangerous as well. Some people were affected in Malaysia, most popular district in the Klang Valley. Water supply cut in Klang Valley affect 5 million people as plants shut due to contamination again. The federal territories of KL and Putrajaya and district in Selangor State, often called the Klang Valley, also share the same water resources collected from rivers and dams in Selangor and treated at plants in the state. Last but not least, over 850 areas in the Klang Valley will experience low water pressure and unstable water supply following a brief shutdown of 4 water treatment plants at Sungai Selangor. The cut in the water supply affect a total of 861 areas in Kuala Lumpur, Petaling, Klang, Shah Alam Kuala Selangor, Hulu Selangor, Gombak and Kuala Langat. This was because the water distribution system was in an unstable condition, wherein many water tanks in residential areas had a steep decrease in water levels.
Okay, right now we will move to the controversies around the environmental problem. So, as the Klang Valley hit repeatedly by the water cuts problem, so it became a concern to the residents of Klang Valley and also has a controversy among the residents and also the authority and the state government. So, the controversy that has been arise the first one, a controversy between the Alliance for Safety Community with the Association of Water and Energy Research and the Water Management Agency Pengurusan Air Selangor Sdn Bhd. So, in 19 October 2020, Air Selangor has issued a statement that the disturbance that occurred was due to the pollution at the source of raw water that has been detected in Sungai Selangor. So, because the pollution that happened, the operation of Sungai Selangor water treatment plants at Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3 also and Rantau Panjang has suspended. So, commenting on this seemingly endless problem, a senior lecturer at University Putra Malaysia, Faculty of Forestry and Environment, Dr. Muhammad Yusuf Ishaq, has urged the authorities to create more water reserves. Besides that, President of Association of Water and Energy Research Malaysia, S. Verapakaran, stated that they have sent a letter to government for immediate amendments of Environmental Quality Act 1974. However, this problem has caught an attention of the Alliance for Safe Communities chairman, Tan Sri Lee Lam Tai. He said that this water cuts problem is unacceptable as it happened just after the reports about the water supply being restored at certain area due to previous water disruption. it was the same river that caused the pollution that have disrupted the water supply. He also highlighted that it seems like all the advice and reports that have been made went wasted as the problem kept happening over and over again. So as the fast spreading COVID-19 happened since the end of year 2019, this matter should have not happened because people need to keep proper hygiene in facing the threats of COVID-19 infections. Okay, we move to the second controversy. So the second controversy arose between the residents of Klang Valley with Selangor state government. Because the water cuts problem keeps on happening, the residents become more concerned regarding this matter. So to pacify when the water cuts problem happen, I Selangor have sent mobilized water trucks to the affected areas with priority given to critical premises such as dialysis center and hospitals. So as far as the problem concerned, the residents realized that the state government does not provide solutions regarding this matter. It also has raised the public outrage over distributed water cuts problem. Plus, the state government just let the pollution and maintenance problem recur with no solution in hand. Said one of the residents after she had been interviewed, Nur Afiqah Muhammad, she said that the residents started to question the responsibility of Selangor Menteri Besar and the state executive councillor in charge of public utilities on this problem. It seems like none of the superiors seems to have their thoughts on the welfare and the well-being of the residents in Klang Valley. Okay, last but not least is the controversy between the residents of Klang Valley with the party that have caused the contamination problem at the raw water supply resource. So when another water cut happened because of the burst pipe, Air Selangor said that the water supply going to be restored in another 24 hours. So Tuan Ibrahim Tuan Man, the Environment and Water Minister, said that the water supply restore water treatment plants will resume operation in another 1 to 2 hours after being restored. So when the repair works of burst pipe in process, the odor pollution was traced at the same water treatment plant. So regarding the new pollution that happened, 4 managers who were suspected involved in this water pollution case have been remanded. The Selangor Chief Minister has announced that one of the factories will be demolished because uh, it does not have planning permission to be built. So the vehicle maintenance factory illegally poured the industrial oil into the drains that flow into the Sungai Kong, one of the rivers that its water is treated, then later supplied to the household, offices and industries. Public anger boiled after they found out that it was the same company that has caused the same offence in March 2020, and the company was fined Rm 60,000 ringgit. Following this controversy, some member of public on social media has questioned the government regarding the closure of the factory. Others want government to permanently shut down the factory. So Selangor Menteri Besar Amiruddin Syahri reacts to the public anger, said that the state government will instruct the factory to rehabilitate the land and secure water and electricity supply to the factory to prevent it from restarting the operation. So after this controversy subsided, progressive restoration of water to consumers started to take its place, in which 51.6% of the affected areas have got the water supply back as usual.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Elisa Muiz binti Muhammad Zaini with matrix number AA190210. So today I'll be presenting about the claim and solution and also about the conclusion of the case study of the water crisis in Selangor. So let's move to another slide. So here's the claim and the solution. As we know, water disruption in Selangor is becoming an increasingly annoying issue, and the Malaysian geologist has looked at the ancient way to offer an alternative solution. So, according to Low Keng Lok, the simple solution would be rely on groundwater instead of surface water. So for the uninitiated, groundwater is referred to water below the surface of the earth, whereas surface water comes from streams, rivers, lakes, and reservoirs that can easily be polluted. He stated that the groundwater is always produced at the point of need. So by doing so, the water source would be at the point of need and would be separated from other sources if there were any contaminant or problem. And at present, millions of households depends on one main source of water. Therefore, the source is polluted. All accounts under the Water Management Agency will be affected until the water is restored. Besides, to effectively solve the problem, Low Keng Lok said it would make more sense to have one tube well for each small township or a residential area to supply a groundwater to a few thousand of accounts rather than relying on one source for a million of users. So, if there is contaminant at one water source, not everybody will be affected by the water cut. He also said that all you have to do is to form a small new water treatment company to take care of its account within its jurisdiction. All the factory needs to do is to install a meter and pay for the water to the Selangor Water Management Authorities. Luas, he added. He pointed out that many factories in Selangor are now using groundwater after it was regulated in a state a few years ago. He also said that if this alternative system was rolled out nationwide, it will solve both the freshman shortage problem in rural areas and the water was in Selangor. According to law, that the implementation of the alternative system was simple and could be connected to the current water distribution system. But however, he said that only challenge would be subsidence of the ground, which mostly happens in dense urban areas. Subsidence occur when the extraction amount of the groundwater is more than the recharge, but there are ways to calculate and control the extraction amount of water to avoid any what we call it any subsidence. So groundwater is also prone to pollution, but its chances were much lower than surface water, like I've mentioned before, like river, lakes, because they that were can easily be polluted. So there are some changes of pesticides and agriculture fertilizers to enter the groundwater, but it takes years for it to happen as groundwater does not flow like a river. And Denmark is an example where over 90% of its water supply comes from the ground. So move to the next slide, which is the conclusion. So I'll explain about the conclusion. So here's the conclusion. In a nutshell, all the agencies that are responsible to water cuts issue should take actions to cure this from happening again and again, because we know supply and demand in water management can be balanced if water resources and water supply engineers address both sides are balanced. So this will ensure that the water industry is more holistic and integrated. Hence, the water security and sustainability are ensured. As Selangor is rapidly developing, water demand management can meet increasing demand in a more sustainable manners, as it does not require new dams and water infrastructure. In view of the impact of climate change on water resources, all water users must be informed earlier, or even must be informed of the different method used to conserve water, whether in the household, agriculture, or industrial sectors. So rainwater harvesting and water recycling must be promoted as they reduce dependence on treated water and increase the Green Building Index rating. As less rain in projected, these efforts will reduce dependence on conventional water supplies during the dry season, particularly in the agriculture sector. So supply side management by means of new dams or interstate water transfer may not ensure that climate change continues to have a greater impact on the water section. The 2012, if I'm not mistaken, the 2012 NWRP is a good start to the development of a new legal and institutional framework for ensuring water insecurity in Malaysia, but no emphasis has been placed on managing water demand. As such, a comprehensive policy on water conservation is needed to balance rapid development and increasing demand for water. So it is also vital for all levels of government to shift their focus to water demand management as it can reduce dependence on costly water projects. It encourages water conservation and provides the government with an opportunity to set a new tariff that reflects both the value and the cost of water supply and services. I think that's all for this case study. Thank you.